Good morning. So excited to talk about the various dimensions, the dimensional planes, also known as the spiritual realms, also known as the heavens. So call it whatever you want, but I'm going to describe what happens in each of the lower world planes of existence. So as you know, we are in the physical realm, okay? And I'm reading this from the God Worlds of Ek. It is very clear, okay, concise detail. You can get that online too at eckankar.org. So the physical is the senses, and there is actually a correlating sound with each of the physical planes and non-physical planes, right? So the physical plane is where soul is trapped. We are trapped in our physical bodies by passions, and they are anger, lust, greed, vanity, and attachment. I will attach a video I have about those 5 passions, how to let go of them, and the 5 that you wish to cultivate as well. And it's a plane of time, space, and matter. There is the illusion of reality, okay? The illusion of reality, Maya, as the Buddhists would say. Feels real, but if you actually look on a quantum physics level, everything is vibrational energy and none of it is really real. I spoke in a video very candidly because I am now being very honest about my strange experiences that I think are actually kind of cool. Instead of hiding them, I actually had an out-of-body experience, very lucidly awake, where I lifted out of my body and the physical world looked very different. So as I read this illusion of reality, it makes sense because the walls were kind of peeling. It was almost like that show Stranger Things where the world looked different, right? But this is the lowest plane of existence on the chart, okay? The lowest. So you can only go up from here, right? We fall down into these physical bodies. Our souls fall into the physical. So there's a sound that is associated with each of the planes. One that is associated with the physical plane is thunder, okay? Thunder. There's also a word to get to the physical plane, which we clearly don't need since we are here, but others that are not can use it, and it's alayi, okay? So the next plane we're going to go to is the one right above the physical. It's called the astral. So people always say, oh, they astral traveled. Well, that's just keeping it in the astral. I would like to say soul travel so that I can go beyond the astral because there's several more planes of existence above, okay? So next is the astral plane, which is the seat of emotions, all right? It says it's a source of all psychic phenomena, ghosts, flying saucers, spirits, ESP. It's a plane reached by astral projection and most of the psychic sciences, okay? The word is kala, if you wanted to get to the astral. Kala. But you don't need to, because if you're seeing these things, then you're already vibing into that plane that's already existing upon this one. So they're kind of like layered on top of each other, right? And the sound that is associated with the astral is the roar of the sea. Oftentimes people will have a sound in their mind and they'll be like, what? Okay, so if you ever, a lot of people use bells, right? Why do they use bells? Well, they're getting above the astral plane because the next plane is the causal plane, and that is the tinkling of bells, the causal plane. Now, I understand people think they're ringing the bell to get rid of bad energy. Cool. I do it too sometimes. But the way that it's actually happening is that you're tinkling the bells, you're getting to the causal plane, which is above the astral. So any, like we said, psychic phenomena, ghosts, etc. of the astral, bye-bye, because we're going up to the causal. Bye-bye. You're stuck in the astral. We're in the causal plane now, because that is the sound that goes with the causal plane. The causal plane is where the Akashic records are stored, and it's the place of memory. It says plane where memories, karmic patterns, and past life records are stored. Okay, so oftentimes you can go to the causal plane by chanting the word Mane. And since it's the third plane, you chant it 3 times. You close your eyes, you open your heart, and you might be taken somewhere to a scene that existed in a different day when you were, let's say, in a different body, around different people, and you can feel everything and see it all. For me, that's how it works, at least. Other people see things on like an index card, or I've also been pulled into a screen and into a different body. So I will be experiencing it in real time, what that body was experiencing in the past. And that is how I got a past life name and was proved later to be a very real person who lived. And I even went to the same place, which hadn't changed much because, you know, Firenze and Roma, they're all beautiful places and they don't change at all. Like they change, but they don't change all that much. Like a piazza is a piazza, like it was then and it is now. So you can get like very specific details, but the point isn't just to be like, oh, that's so cool. I lived in Italy in the 1600s. Yes, it was cool and difficult, the plague time, but it's also cool because you get to understand what you were working on and you can fix it in this lifetime. If you have something you've been working on in that lifetime and you remember that lifetime, it might be because you need to work on it more in this lifetime and remember it. So Mane is the name or the word, I mean, to chant to get to the Akashic records, the causal plane of existence, okay? And then we have the mental plane, which is the next one above and still in the lower worlds where there's dichotomy. There's dark and light, there's up and down, right? So that's the lower worlds are they're self-realization worlds, and each higher world has a greater proportion of spirit to matter. So the more you go up, like physical to astral, there's more spirit to matter. Astral to causal, causal to mental has more spirit than matter, and ethereal is the highest. So let's read about the mental. The mental is the mind, right? Makes sense. And the word to chant to get there is Om. It's still in the lower worlds, you guys. That's why I say chant Hu, because it's in the higher worlds, the love worlds, period. But Om, that is the running of water. And I've been to the mental plane too, consciously. And yes, there is a lot of water. I actually saw a lot of mountains too. Source of all mental teachings, aesthetics, philosophies, conventional concepts of God and cosmic consciousness. I'm pretty sure that's where the Buddhists hang a lot. And that is Om. A lot of Eastern cultures sing Om. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It's beautiful there. And it is of a higher vibrational nature than the astral or the causal. So next we go to the etheric, which is intuition. And the etheric is the last barrier between the lower worlds and the pure positive God worlds. And the sound there is the buzzing of bees. So if you're ever having a dream where you're like hearing all these bees buzz, it means you're on the border of going into the pure love worlds of God, all that is source energy, Sugmad, okay? So the etheric, the last one of the lower worlds, says intuition. The word to chant is Baju. Baju. Last barrier between the lower worlds and the pure positive God worlds. So let's review a second, okay, and make this clear. You're in a physical, that's your senses. The word is Alai, and it's thunder. It's where soul's trapped by the 5 passions. There's time, space, matter, illusion of reality, okay? The astral, the next plane up, you always go there when you sleep. Sorry, you guys don't want to think you soul travel. You do every time you sleep. And that's not bad. That's a good thing. Just try going to sleep with an open heart and you'll go higher. Because some of the astral realm is a little creepy too. I'm telling you. It's close to the physical plane. Okay, so it's emotion and the word is Kala and it's the roar of the sea. It's a source of psychic phenomena, ghosts, flying saucers, spirits, ESP, etc. And yes, people astral project to the astral plane, but that's it. You want to go higher, you got to be soul traveling. So the next plane is the causal, and that's memory, Akashic records, past life records, and it's money, and it's the tinkling of bells, and it's a plane where memories and karmic patterns are kept, so you can kind of have an idea of what you're working on in this lifetime. Okay. The next one is the mental mind. Om. Running water, source of all mental teachings, aesthetics, philosophies, conventional concepts of God, cosmic consciousness. And then we get to the last one of the lower worlds is the etheric. It's intuition, and it's right below the love or God worlds, okay? And it's the buzzing of bees, and the word is Baju. It's the last barrier between the lower worlds and the pure positive God worlds. Next, we get to the soul plane. All right, that I will cover briefly here because I think we all are working quite a bit in the lower worlds, but it's good to know that if you want to pull more soul plane energy in, the highest on this chart, because it always goes higher, is Hue. Hue. That's in the Anami Lok, okay? And that is the higher on the chart, okay? But there's also other ones, like it goes straight up. There's a single note of a flute, heavy wind, deep humming, thousand violins, music of woodwinds, and whirlpool. And I'm not even kidding, you guys. I'm telling you, if you really dedicate yourself to the spiritual practices and you want to be in the higher worlds more than the lower worlds, then do the spiritual practices, chant the Hue 20 minutes a day, and you will raise yourself in time. You'll have so many dreams where you're like, oh, I'm cleaning out another home in a different plane of existence, or I'm releasing luggage, or I'm not making that bad choice in the inner. I'm not even kidding. You have chances to even say yes or no to dates in the inner. I'm not kidding. Okay. And you say no. Okay. If it's like not the right person for you. Like you can literally, like, so it's so within, so without. So whatever you're experiencing here, it's also experienced there on some level, but in a higher vibe. So you learn there, and then what you choose there trickles down here. So I know someone who used to tell me that in the inner he would rob banks. I'm like, dude, why? Bad idea. Well, it's just a dream. No, it's not just a dream. Okay? It's not just a dream. And everything we do comes back to you as if it knew the way. So, yeah, you make higher choices. Like you can do things like you can help people in the inner. You can help them. If you know the areas, you can help them to navigate their way through, which is something I kind of find myself doing a lot, which is weird, I guess. But also, you know, you can commune with animals and nature and just not be in places that you don't want to be. So if you meet up in your soul family, your family, let's say, not your soul tribe family, but your actual physical family that you grew up with, and they might not remember, let's say they're not spiritual at all, and you meet with them, but you don't like what they're doing, you decide in the dream state that you're not going to hang out with them. And then you end up having a dream experience like I did, where I said, you know, I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, but I really don't want to be around these people at all right now, like at all. Like this is not my kind of fun. I don't like to do things like have loud parties, or I like to be more quiet. I like to be with nature. I like to be in nature and with animals and quiet, you know, or with one or two really nice, good people, period. I don't like big crowds of people. I just don't. So I left their big, obnoxiously loud party and I went off, and I was gifted with this most beautiful, beautiful natural place with birds landing on me. And oh, it was just so lovely. So when you actually honor yourself in the higher worlds, I feel like it trickles down too, because now I have opportunities to visit certain places in the physical 3D with nature, and I'm definitely going to be doing that a lot more. So it kind of shows you what you actually want, but you have to be brave enough in your dreams too. Other people have other dreams of, let's say, being attacked. Well, maybe you're the kind of person who needs to stand up and put a field up so that no one can attack you. You see? Like and then in your real life, you will stop being attacked by unhealthy others. Like, the other worlds give you so many opportunities to learn and grow. Maybe you fell out with someone and they keep coming to you in the astral trying to talk to you. And you have to finally say to them, look, I love you and I always will, but you made a choice and now you need to move on in your life. And that is totally a great thing too, because then you don't even have to deal with it in the physical. You can just say it in the astral. Or you meet up with a relative who's died. And oh my gosh, I do that all the time. And it's like the best. I'm telling you guys. Oh my God, it's such a joy. Can't tell you. And I recently have been meeting up with my grandmother, and I don't quite understand what's going on yet, but she's been upgraded in the inner. I'm helping her to move, or helped her to move to a different place that was much nicer and freed her from something. It was amazing. So yeah. Then other times it's not always that you're being so benevolent. You might see yourself in a past life where you were really a naughty, and you're like, oh my God, that was me, wasn't it? Ew. And that might have been 25,000 years ago. We are eternal, having, temporary human experiences. And then you go, okay, I'm so sorry. And maybe it makes sense why someone really was mean to you in this life, because you maybe were really mean to them in that. You see? But mostly when you traverse these higher worlds, you feel just so, I just feel so, what's the word? I just come back with really light, happy vibed energy. Maybe some of you have anger issues, or you have depression or something like that. And you're like, well, what is she, like Snow White or something? I get it. I've heard this before. Okay. So I'm putting it out there. It's like, you know what? I wasn't always like this light and easy. You see, it takes work is what I'm saying. And that means looking at yourself. And even if you are a victim for many in this lifetime, you have to look at the role that you played too. What did I do? What could I have done differently? And even if there's nothing that you could have done differently and you truly were just victimized most of your life, then get into therapy, deal with it. I've been in therapy since I was 18, and I'm proud of that. It means that I'm not ashamed of it in any way, shape, or form. It's been most helpful, right? It's something that most people should do, and they don't do it because they think it's a stigma. There's no stigma to it. It means that you're actually wise enough to know that you want a helper in your life to talk to once a week. So you don't actually put that on your spouse. If I ever do get married again, I'm not going to want my spouse to be my therapist. Ew. That's just gross, like a therapist would help. Or like you can talk to people in the inner, in these worlds, and they can give you really interesting advice. You can also have, so many different experiences. But if you do have like bad dreams, people will tell me, but I have really bad dreams. I don't anymore. I had them, but only if I ask for a karmic clearing, really. And then I'll see something, and it's a lot less over, the millennias. But if you have some bad ones, then you can talk to spirit, you could talk to your angel guides, I talk to the current living Eckmaster, and I ask for help in mitigating the karmic reason that I'm seeing this scene. For instance, you could say that, help me to release my karma. Oftentimes, if you're actually dreaming something, it's because you are releasing your karma, right? Sometimes people will have dreams where they're being chased or they're lost. And you can also chant the hue in the inner when you're asleep if you can become lucid enough. And it's hue. And then you kind of will get an idea, or someone will come and help you. I've literally been helped out of places I got lost in. like very clearly helped. And I won't say more about that because it is so weird that I I can't even believe it myself sometimes, but incredible. And my life has changed for 1,000, 1,000,000 gazillion percent the better. So knowing these planes of existence or dimensions or heavens can help you to get to them, to work off some of your past life stuff and like understand where you are in the first place. What was it that Jesus said? The kingdom of heaven is within, and we have many. My Father has many houses. Yes, it's so true because you have a house on every plane of existence, people. Every single plane of existence, you have your own house. Okay? And you have to clean them out. Some of them have old things trapped in there. Oh, don't ask the cleaning I did when I first became an Eckist. Oh, in the inner, I would just go from house to house and I had, such a mess in them. And I would just clean them out. And then I started to paint places in the beginning. And now when I finally get to a higher realm, I'm not actually having to do it myself. I just have people do it for me. I I choose the furniture or whatever, I furnish it, and you know, it just it gets easier is what I'm trying to say as you work up through each of these planes of existence. Through your, if you are an Eckist, your initiations, or if you are just truly consciously and lucidly aware in your dream state. It's just fascinating. Like, I cannot tell you how real this is. And again, your outer changes when your inner landscape changes. So within, so without. And so within is your different dimensions that are yours and yours alone from all of your past lives. So consider, my friend, chanting the word Hue. It will raise your vibe and it will help you to go through each of these different planes of existence and work through what's there, whatever it is. I love you guys so much. And I really hope that you try chanting the Hue because it was a game and is a game changer in my life and has helped wake me up in the dream worlds even more than I was, because I always remembered dreams. I had lucid dreams. I'd had flying dreams. I had so many like prophetic dreams, but now with the Hue and the help of the current living Eckmaster in the inner worlds and the other Eckmasters that exist, I am so much more capable of lucidly traveling and understanding what needs to be done next, working on myself and working in a way that doesn't feel painful and traumatic. There's no depression or anger in me at all, really. I feel so different. And I had a lot of reasons to be really angry or depressed, but I don't feel that at all because I've opened myself to that one word that means love, and it's got such an ancient vibration. It pulls that energy into me, and then I deal with things much more effectively. So this is why I share it, because I know that if you try it, it will help you too. There's no way it won't. Like, I can say that with 1,000% guarantee. I will say that sometimes before things get better, things have to get a little worse though. So if you're in a relationship, for instance, with someone who is hurting you and you don't quite recognize it, you chant the Hue, then it's going to let you know that that person is a deceiver, and you're going to see it in your dreams, which I saw so many dreams that were warning me that things I wouldn't accept or believe were true. But ultimately, that's exactly what happened. In the dreams warnings, since I chanted the Hue, were actually totally accurate. And so I was able to get myself out of a really bad situation. And that's changed my life too. So whatever it is that's going on in your life, life gets better with the Hue, and it opens your conscious awareness, and you just have to easily flow with life, kind of just easy, you know? All right. Love you guys. I think this is long-winded, but it's just so exciting that I just want to share it with everyone. So hope that you got something good out of it and have a great day. Love you.